Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8 and maybe 9. Just put a question mark on that 9 portion. But yeah, this is an exciting video to talk about. So we've known for a bit or a while that Rick Cosnet would be returning to the role of Eddie Thawne in this season of The Flash after seasons and seasons of people wondering, if we were ever going to get him, going to get to see him again due to the fact that the last time we had seen him was in, I think, season 3, I'm pretty sure. And that announcement that came in regards to his return focused in on episode 6 of this season, which is, of course, the episode we're picking up with after this break. And, of course, we have not just, one trailer focused around that, but 2. However, there isn't a ridiculous amount of Eddie Thawne in those trailers, but we do know that episode 6 is an episode focusing on Bart and Nora, or, Impulse and XS, who travel back to fix the timeline after something goes wrong. Now, whether they were the cause of this wrongdoing is up in the air. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to mess it all up, but I'm also gonna, give them the benefit of the doubt, that they are innocent and did nothing wrong, but let's see how that plays out. So due to this, the Eddie that's going to be appearing in episode 6 is actually the Eddie from the past, from the end of 2013 to be exact, which was of course the exact same time period in which Barry Allen is in a coma after being struck by lightning. So there shouldn't be any Barry in this time period, unless they want to change that around, but he should be in a hospital bed, or maybe in Star Labs, in a bed, regardless, because he's comatose. But the thing with this was that they said that Rick Cosnet was only coming back for one episode. They said he's just coming back for one. They literally used the term singularity. Oh, was a connection there? I don't know, but just a singular episode, which in my video initially talking about this news, I said I doubted it a bit because I thought it didn't feel necessary to bring him back just for this one episode. It would be playing with fans' emotions by just bringing him back after a good amount of demand just to be in a few scenes, which we now know is in like the past of the timeline. And well, it looks like doubting this and thinking, this doesn't sound 100%, that it's going to sit well, and that he's only going to be in one episode, it seemed like it was the good brain move to make, as we got some more news in regards to Eddie Thawne, which leads into more appearances in Season 8 and maybe Season 9. But yeah, let me know your various opinions about this in the comment section down below as we go through all this news. I'm very curious to see what you guys think, and as well as any theories, predictions, projections, whichever way you want to put it. Let me know all that in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're excited by all this news, why not drop a like on the video to show your support and excitement. So this news report was exclusively reported first by Deadline, which is the case like 80 to 90% of the time, so shout out to Deadline. But let's just go over the meat and potatoes, the tasty, crispy potatoes of this article. Exclusive! Rick Cosnet is set for a multi-episode arc on Season 8 of The Flash. Cosnet, an original cast member who played CCPD detective Eddie Thawne in Season 1 and was killed off in the freshman finale, hinted in October at a Flash return with an Instagram photo. It was reported speculatively at the time that he would be back for a singular flashback episode of the CW series. We can reveal that Cosnet will be recurring in Season 8, appearing in at least 3 episodes, and that this character is being reintroduced in an unconventional way. Rick's been such a fantastic part of our Flash family since Season 1, and we've been looking for ways to bring him back to the show ever since, Eric Wallace, executive producer and showrunner, said in a statement to Deadline. Fortunately, we've been able to do so now in Season 8, and Rick has been fantastic in bringing an exciting new side to his portrayal of Eddie Thawne that honours the character's past, but also takes it somewhere unexpected. Wallace would not share further details, but I hear that Cosnet's Eddie embodies different characters in his return. Cosnet potentially could do more episodes in Season 9 if it's picked up as expected, with star Grant Gustin finalising a new deal last month. Cosnet previously has reprised his role twice, in the flashback episode in Season 2 and in the Into the Speed Force episode in Season 3, and now he'll be returning once again. So of course, this is just exciting news. I mean, I think most people like Eddie. I haven't really ever encountered a comment or anything like that on my YouTube videos or on Twitter or anything where someone's like, F Eddie, man, I don't like him. I don't see that. So I know why the hater would automatically be American. I'm not too sure. Ignore the weird accent attempt. But I think most people will be excited about this. Now, the big question there's a couple of questions that we have to wonder about this and where it leads into this season. Only in 3 episodes at the moment. They say at least 3 episodes. Now, I don't know what that means specifically, whether Deadline can only confirm he's in 3 episodes, but they don't know if there's a cap. Like Eric Wallace didn't just say, oh yeah, he's only in 3 episodes. Or maybe just Eric Wallace said, we've done 3 episodes so far with him. We don't know how Deadline's really taking that number specifically and how they're coming up with it, but at least 3 episodes we'll go with, but it could be more. And we'll jump into the season 9 stuff a bit later just because it's a separate thing. But even though Rick Cosnett might only be in, say, 3 episodes where you see his face, could his character be in more? Because you got to remember, the character could be masked up or covered up. He could wear a mask. Now, of course, when this news came out, as you'd expect, everyone was like, Cobalt Blue, ? Because when people have said we want Eddie back, it isn't just Eddie randomly to, stick his hand out of the grave and go, I'm back, I'm alive again, I'm undead. People want him back as Cobalt Blue because, of course, Eddie is pretty much sort of like an interpretation or can be taken as a representation of Cobalt Blue on the show, because you don't have to do it exactly like the comics, but just do a character similar to that, and he fits Cobalt Blue pretty much perfectly, even looks like him from the comics as well. So Cobalt Blue is going to be the one, or the thing that people are expecting when he comes back. I've got my fingers crossed. Of course, Red Death is another option because they're not going to do the Bruce Wayne stuff from the comics with Red Death. So if they do Red Death, they could choose any other identity, and they could even use Eddie Thawne. It's not like his name's Malcolm Thorne. It's not like he has to be Cobalt Blue. It's just that he fits, Cobalt Blue more than Red Death. But if they made Eddie Red Death, or for some reason, somehow, due to whatever happens, I'd be fine with that, and think a lot of people will be fine with that as well. Because one of the big things as well is that they say, yeah, he's in at least 3 episodes, but we don't know where these 3 episodes, or at least the other 2, if we're including that episode 6 as one of the 3, we don't know where those other 2 are. Are these extra episodes straight after that episode 6? Maybe not episode 7, but maybe they're in like episode 8 or 9 or 9 and 10, or are they later into the season? Is he, in episode 14, 15 or something like that? This article doesn't confirm or, lead us astray from any sort of number. We just don't know where they are except for that episode 6. So of course that's going to be a very interesting thing to find out when we jump back into the when the show comes back in around a month. Now, one thing that needs to be brought up is that there is a high chance, I think it's actually probably more likely, that Eddie comes back and isn't Cobalt Blue and isn't Red Death, but maybe the villain or one of the villains in this season is revolved around like sort of raising the dead or messing with the dead, something in that area. Because it's very important to remember, we have, Eddie back for multiple episodes. Guess what other dead character, or character that we're led to believe is dead, is coming back as well this season? Yeah, Ronnie Raymond. He's coming back for 2 episodes. So are we just getting a villain that's messing with Barry and bringing back people that you could argue are dead because of Barry, because of Barry's, not necessarily like Barry, chopped their head off or something like that, but Barry's actions led to their deaths, if you want to call it, if that makes sense. Because, if you remember back to season 1, Barry, the whole singularity thing, which takes Ronnie and also causes Eddie to sort of shoot himself to get rid of Eobard, that only really happens because Barry doesn't save his mum. Which I know you can argue, well, that's the whole Flashpoint thing, but that whole thing, Barry went against that and it led to Eddie and I guess Ronnie's death as well. And I wonder if they tie back to that in some way. So I think that's a valid option, that maybe that we just do have this villain that's just bringing back these dead people. And of course you have Eddie, then you have Ronnie, and then maybe even like Henry Allen, maybe potentially, like who else, like who knows who else could be showing up that's meant to be dead. Now, obviously one of the big things that I think a lot of people will be thinking about as well is it's something to do with time travel and like timeline changes, because Eddie's appearing in episode 6, which is a time travel episode where the timeline sort of messed up. Does something in that episode lead to him actually being alive in the future, like post Bart and Nora traveling through time? Because it's very important to remember, whenever we've time traveled before, Barry's been the one time traveling, and that's my only concern if they go down this route, because Barry's meant to be the vessel for us. So if Barry changes timelines, so do we. But in this case, it'd be Bart and Nora, and they're not appearing later this season, at least for the majority of it, from what we know. So that could be an issue, and it might not make sense if they go down that route. So hopefully that's not the case, unless it's something small where like Barry doesn't feel the effects of it, but maybe just Eddie can be back alive through a timeline change, but maybe change scenery and be someone else in that future, or in our present, but the future of where episode 6 is, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. But I don't know if it would make 100% sense, but I think you'd have to wait and see how it plays out. And of course, the last thing to mention, season 9. They say in the article that he could be in more episodes potentially in season 9 if it's picked up, which if it's not picked up, I'd be very surprised because they've gone through this whole thing of re-signing Grant Gustin, so it'd have to go through, you'd have to think, unless something else happens. So does that mean that he's actually meant to be properly alive and it's actually Eddie Thawne, but just with a tiny bit of a twist that can continue into season 9? Or is this meant to be like the birth of Eddie actually becoming a villain that would then be the villain in season 9? Very curious to see what that could entirely mean. Now, obviously, that could just be pure speculation just from the Deadline people, but you'd have to think they'd get like a crumb to go along with that speculation if that's the case. So I know, I mean, more Eddie the better, I think, as long as it's, you know, relevant and actually works. And he's just not there for the sake of it, because I don't think that's necessary. But if it works, they have a reason for it, there's a story that's really cool, then I'm all for it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll have to wait and see where Eddie shows up when we get back with The Flash in just over a month. But if you enjoyed the video and you're excited about this, why not drop a like on the video to show your support and excitement. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions about all of this. Very curious to read what you guys have to say. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.